Hello everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Refuge. Alright, hello everyone and welcome to my July TBR. And I'm really hoping for some fantastic reads in July, and I'll tell you why. You know, I feel like every year, well, not even every year, every month, right, is the chance to start fresh. And in some previous months here, things have started out, where I maybe have had a lot of ARCs, a lot of ALCs on the list, or maybe I haven't, but then things have snowballed into there being more than I can handle. And I'm feeling pretty good about July because there really isn't too much for quote unquote assigned reading. And by that I mean stuff that I've assigned to myself. And I'm really excited what that could mean for where I get drawn into and what I'm really determined for in July, and not as like overdone parameters for myself, because as always, I'm still going to, enjoy what I'm going to enjoy. But I want that to be more than just being drawn into fan fiction, because kind of what I've been doing, and I mean, you guys know this, I've let myself read where I wanted to read in the past few months, but in general, that place has been fan fiction. Like if I wanted to get out of the constraints of my TBR, it was fan fiction. And what I really want to do in July is to not only, let's say, go into fan fiction, like when I have some space in the TBR, I want to feel pulled in to discovering a new author again, right? Because a few things, like looking at what my goals for the year are, and again, I have really soft goals for what this year are, right? Because I didn't want to put a lot of constraints on. I didn't want to feel a lot of pressure. I know that I have a lot of books every month that are assigned reading in a good way. They're assigned reading that pays my bills. And that is by no means something that is to be railed against. It is the whole damn point of what I do, and I love it. But ALCs, ARCs, those are voluntary work that I take on, and I don't want to drown myself in that. But I still gave myself a couple fun challenges, and one of those was to read as many new to me authors as I can. And I was looking at my list here, and I've only gotten to 10 this year so far, which is just wild to me that I've only gotten to 10, because last year I believe I got to 60, and the year before that I wasn't even like, I think, man, what did I have in 2024? I think it was almost 100, because the point was I was trying to try new authors, but I didn't even have a number goal. I just was reading as many as I could. And also this year, of these authors that were new to me that I tried, not a single one of these, oh, that's a lie. Okay, one of them is a new to me author that I picked. All the rest of these are ones that I read for Patreon reasons or annotated pre-orders, which is great. I was just telling one of my patrons the other day who was requesting their book that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm excited to try this author. I haven't got to them. But all of these save one were authors I tried because someone else got me to try them. And I love that as well, because often they end up being great. Like when I do at the end of the year, when I do my new to me authors smash or pass, of these 10 that I tried so far, 7 of them are authors that I would try again. So that's great. That's a great percentage. But we are over halfway through the year, or we're about to be halfway through the year with this, and I've only read 10, which is wild. Again, I didn't have a full number, but I mean, I made a whole sheet in my planner, which again, it wasn't numbered. I'm only numbering one column at a time, but I have a whole sheet because a whole double page spread, because in previous years I've had 50 or more to talk about, and right now we're only at 10. So the reason why I titled this TBR the way I did is it's not so much that I'm in a slump number-wise, right? You know, I'm at 177 books. My goal for the year being 250, you know, I'm well on the way to getting that. Granted, yes, you know, when we look at the chart, when I did my thing, a lot of these are fanfics. I don't give two figs if 70% of them are. I'm enjoying what I'm reading. But I want to get out of the funk of feeling that the only way to break the constraints is to dive into a fanfic, right? I want to break the constraints and go find an author and dive into their backlist and fall in love and be able to talk to you guys about them and send you guys rushing to them, right? I feel like even the authors, when I do, you know, I want to make a video that is an underhyped author video. And right now, when I look at my list of authors to do that for, I feel like I don't have many authors to talk about for it because I haven't been able to do that. So that's where this title comes from. It's again, it's not coming from the fact that I haven't been reading. I have averaged 30 books / things a month. Again, if we don't want to count fics as books, like I've still averaged 30 things a month that I've been reading, but a lot of them have just felt like I've plodded along, you know. I always feel like I'm hustling through it, and it's going to happen again this month just because the nature of it is almost the end of the month and I haven't started any of the Patreon reads because I was working on annotated pre-orders to get done. So in the last week of June and the beginning of July, I'm going to be reading all of June's books. And then I'm going to be reading all of the, you know, ARCs and ALCs that I'm behind on. And then I'm going to end up feeling tight and constrained. And I'm going to want to just read a bunch of fan fiction as a rebel. And then it starts all over again. So, you know, and I feel like sorry, we're so not getting into the TBR yet. I know, like, I made this fun prompt, title for this video because one of the other things too is that, you know, I also want to be making interesting videos again. My trope videos aren't doing well, you know, and that doesn't mean I will ever stop making those. I promise to you, I will never stop making trope videos. That is something that I love. I will keep making those. But as I've always said, when people ask for advice as being a creator, you also still have to make videos that the algorithm wants you to make as well so that you can have a well-rounded channel, right? So that new people can find you. You need to make videos that you want to make, that your current viewers want you to make, and that the algorithm wants you to make. You need this three-pronged strategy. And when you look at the layout of BookTube, there also needs to be room for some of these creative ones where you can do an experiment. You know, I haven't made a reading vlog for my main channel where you get to do this, like, I read 3 of Book Talk's books, or I read these most popular books, or like XYZ, like those type of videos, you still have to make once in a while to bring new people into you, you know? I've tried doing this stuff. Obviously, I've done stuff with Heated Rivalry, with Off Campus. That's not getting the pull that I thought it would. And again, it's not all just about getting eyes on you, but some of it is. This is my business, and you got to analyze that. So for me, this is about also clearing up some space so that I can feel creative again as well, right? Because there's a few ideas percolating that I have, and I want to be able to give myself some room to want to do that. So I kind of have an idea for that this month, and I'm going to share that in here. I don't know that I will be able to fully complete it in July, so it might be something that drags over through the summer because this challenge that I'll talk about to myself for this video idea I have, I'm not going to fully share what it is, but I'll share the books I'm thinking of reading for it. Because I do want to reread these books no matter what, and reread them just for me. And then, of course, find a way to make a video of it, but not be rereading them because I'm going to annotate them or because someone's paying me to do it or because, I'm doing it for any other reason than I want to do it, but then be able to use it for content like a booktube creator does, right? You know, I've been here 8.5 years, which is insane. And when you put up a video when you have 25K and you put up a video that just a couple years ago would have done solid numbers, like nothing insane, but would have been a solid amount, and it gets 200 views in the first 12 hours, you know that the algorithm has changed so far that you have to reevaluate, right? And because I'm not willing to use YouTube's AI tools, and I'm not willing to partner with any of the spamming things that come into my inbox, I have to do the analysis and change that stuff up myself, right? So anyway, as always, I've turned the first part of this into philosophy, but that is what the title is. It wasn't clickbait. What I mean by can I get myself out of this funk isn't because I think I'm in a full-on slump or that I'm not reading. I absolutely am. I read every single day. I have read every single day for, nigh on 25 years of my life, but that evolves and changes. And as I've said before too, what a reading slump looks like to me is different for other people. A reading slump for me isn't that I'm not consuming pages. It's what is inspiring me to be reading? What am I getting out of it? And what is it inspiring me to create, right? Like back when I first started this channel, I was inspired, to make a video, and it didn't matter if it only got 200 views, right? But now it does kind of matter if it only gets 200 views, because it's like, well, what's wrong now? Like what am I not tapping in with, right? So it's very interesting stuff. But anyway, we'll tap on a few things. So here's my July page. Really like how that one turned out. Very, very nice there. Also, you can make anything look pretty with some stickers, right? I do not have an artistic hand. It's why I like cross stitch, because it makes me feel like I'm doing art that I don't have to rely on my artistic eye to do. I can follow a pattern. So all I have to be able to do is write July with a stencil. No, I didn't use a stencil, but, and use some pretty stickers. So there's that. And I did a super basic yellow and gray for this today. But let's go over what I'm reading for Patreon, the few new releases that I'm planning to read, because there are many more coming out, but I'm only reading, I believe, 9 or 10 of them is what my goal is. And then I'll talk about the ones that I'm hoping to maybe read for like a challenge, like I said. Or not a challenge, but leave myself open to reading. So for Patreon, I will finally be reading a book called Without Words by Ellen O'Connell. So this book was picked because the prompt / trope that was picked for July was historical romance. So that could have been any type of historical romance. And the one that was voted on was Without Words by Ellen O'Connell. This is one that one of my patrons has actually been suggesting for ages. They wanted me to read another Ellen O'Connell. Ellen O'Connell, of course, is the author of Eyes of Silver, Eyes of Gold, which is one of my favorite historical romances, one of my favorite books of all time. Love, 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 love that book so much. But she is one of the authors who has hideous covers. There's no way around it. Okay, there's no denying it. They're bad. Okay, the covers are bad. But that is great in one way, because one of the prompts on my book challenge board is a book I'll read despite the cover. And this one is finally going to get crossed off with Without Words. So I'll be reading Without Words. Then some books that I will be reading for the first time for patrons will be Under Lock and Key by Lana Ferguson. I've never read that one. Pray for You by Amy Lynn, which will be the second part of the duet. I'm still planning to read Hunt for You this month in June, and then Pray for You in July. Then most of the others are all rereads for me. Although I will have to reread Enemies of the State by Tal Bauer. That was actually my first Tal Bauer that I read, which is The President and the President's Bodyguard. That was my first Tal Bauer, which is crazy to me. But yeah, I read that one before I ever read You and Me. Love it. So good. But yeah, one of my patrons picked that one. So I'll be rereading that one. The rest are ones I have read already that I'll be rereading and annotating there. So yeah. Okay, now on to the new releases / ones I'll be getting in audio, ALCs. So there is The Royal Situation by Lyra Parrish. This one, oh shoot, I was going to pull it up, but I don't have it in front of me now, but I have the ALC of this one. This is the first Lyra Parrish I'll be reading, I believe, so that's interesting. I already have the audio for this one. Then, I don't have an ALC of this one, but I'm hoping to read this one. It is Hit the Road Cowboy by Rhea Morris Edwards. And this one says it is a cowboy romance about country music. So that's fun. This one is possibly going to be a standalone for her. And it says it explores mental health, depression, burnout, divorce, and discussions of cheating, though there's no cheating between the MCs. So it says Cohen Taylor is going through an identity crisis and depression during his country music career. In a last-ditch effort attempt to right the ship, his agent sends him home to rural Wyoming to recover for the summer on Maxwell Ranch. What he's not expecting is to find an entire ranching operation resting precariously on 25-year-old Sabrina Maxwell's shoulders. While he can't deny their instant attraction, they both have too much on their plates to consider romance, particularly after her father's unexpected retirement and the financial stress that comes with it. In the hopes of curing his severe burnout, Cohen decides to pitch in at the ranch while he traces his steps back to his roots as the folk writer and musician. As the summer progresses, he begins the long road of unpacking the damage of the last 15 years and rediscovering who he was before fame and commercial success. Despite knowing she shouldn't get tangled up in Cohen, Sabrina is lonely, tired of carrying so much responsibility, and navigating a difficult family situation. Now there's finally someone who seems to understand, and she can't stay away no matter how hard she tries. Lighting's being weird today. Okay, so yeah, this was one though, I did sign up for the arc of this and then I never heard anything about it, which that's totally fine because again, so many arcs and everything that sometimes it's a blessing getting rejected now and then, you know? Sometimes it's just fine to get rejected. It really is. Okay, then though, one that I'm so excited about, I know I've talked about this one so many times, especially the first one in the series I've talked about nonstop, but Into the Fading Twilight comes out on the 7th. This one is book 2 in the Starlight Grove series, and I do have the ALC of this one. It just got delivered the other day as well. I'm actually hoping to listen to this one on my road trip on Monday. I will be going to family camp. I go to that every year. Talk about that all the time. But yeah, this will be the next one in the series. This one's about Nova Monroe, who she had been held captive for over a year, for actually 413 days. And what I always bring up about this is the first one, which was Across the, oh shoot, how can I forget what it's called? Across the Vanishing Sky, was about her friend who was trying to find her. And then this is about her now. And the single dad, Cole Archer, who actually helped find her. So I'm very excited to read this. I've actually been trying to get through 2 other ALCs first before I start this one, because I just want to read this one so bad, but I still have 2 June books I'm trying to push through, including the Rena Kent, which I just got, and that one comes out on Tuesday, so I'm really trying to get through this one first. But yeah, I really want to get to this one. So thank you, Catherine Cowles and then Bloom, for sending me a physical copy of it. Though I wish the arc of this one matched the arc of the first one. It was so cute. But yeah, here's also a cute picture of them. Oh, so precious. It's going to be so good and break my heart at the same time. And I'm pretty sure Sebastian York is narrating this. It's going to be good. All right, then also out that day, and I'm pretty sure I'll be getting an arc of this one. And this was, I gotta tell you, I was really hesitant to sign up for this one, and I think I may still be getting the arc of this one, and I might regret it. I don't know. Like I said, because again, there's a bunch of books that come out on the 7th, but I'm only reading 2 of them. So this other one is called The Brat by Serena Ackroyd, okay? And again, I have a very mixed relationship with Serena Ackroyd, but this is the start of a new series, and it is a 2nd gen secret society, new adult romance, and it's a professor-student, and I just couldn't help myself. I couldn't help myself because I love those tropes, and I love that idea. And the fact that it was a 2nd gen, like, new setup in a new place, I was like, okay, well, even though it'll be, like, still connected to the same world because it's 2nd gen, maybe it'll be a fresh start and will fix some of the problems I was starting to have with her other, like, world, which was, so my main issues with a lot of hers were every single thing was connected in her other universes, even her 2 pen names, all the books were connected, which I'm like, what's the point of 2 pen names if all your books are connected? And then also, there's multiple POVs in all of her books. It just got so complicated. It was like impossible to recommend the books to people. And that's kind of what I do, right? As a booktuber. But The Brat says this, just very briefly, it has this. It says, Victoria. So this is the head of the Russian mafia and a Bratva princess. So this says, Victoria, the first time he sent me the decapitated head of my enemy, I fell in love. No, it wasn't exactly appropriate, but the world is dark and mine is only getting darker. There's a secret society seething behind my college's preppy image, and I want in. Who better to help me than my psychotic suitor, Maxim Leonov? The Veronians selected me to be the well-connected future wife of a brother. I'll play their games, prove my worth, but the only person who'll decide whose ring I wear is me. They're about to learn the hard way that I'm a brat and I've already chosen my man. Cloaked in Maxim's protection, I, Victoria Vaslov, will be the kingmaker. So I really like that attitude. I'm just saying, I really like that attitude. So I'm interested in it. And yeah, some of the things, yeah, it says anyway, I won't read any other parts of it, but yeah, marriage of convenience, head of the, so maybe he's not her professor then. I thought it was a professor and a student. Maybe he's not? I don't know. Either way, I signed up for it. I haven't received word, but it did say that the ARCs weren't going out until like July 1st anyway. But we'll see. We'll see. I signed up for it, and if I don't get it, I definitely won't cry about it. So anyway, also coming out that day is The Exquisite Torment of Loving Your Enemy, which didn't sign up for that. I still have to read book 1, but it is coming out. And there's also An Education of Longing by Charlotte Stein, which I was interested in because it's a dark witch romance. And Charlotte Stein is an author I liked many, many, many years ago. And I discovered she was writing like dark fantasy romance. So I may want to try her sometime, but I'm probably not going to read her immediately, but just want to put that out there. Okay, then on the 9th, I have an ALC for Endless Summer Nights by Willow Astor. This is the fourth book. Wow, we're at the 4th book already of the Windy Harbor series. So yeah, I have the ALC of this one already. And just a quick blurb of this one. I need to stop reading all the blurbs. We're not going to do that. This one is A Steamy Second Chance Hockey Romance. So this one is Lola Donovan. And then it must be which brother is this? Anyway, this is the family that's in Minnesota along Lake Superior, and they have the resort, and all the family members came back to town when their father had cancer. And I've been really liking it. And this one's a second chance. But it says she comes to the family resort with a new boyfriend who's also the hero's rival. So that'll be interesting. So yeah, can't wait to try that one. Oh yes, I forgot to say this. So Face Off with Fate ended up moving to July as well. This one was in May, and then it moved to June, and now it's in July. So I didn't even put it on my list because I'll believe it when I see it. And now that it's coming up so soon, I don't have an arc of this one. I'll probably wait till there's an ALC of it anyway. But it does come out in July now, maybe. Okay, there's also Twilight Tides by Samantha Young. Now, this is one that I didn't sign up for the ALC this time because the last one I only gave a 3-star to. So it was my choice to not sign up for the ALC of this one, just because there's been 2 in a row from Samantha Young that I know part of it was because of the tropes that those were. I've loved Samantha Young's in the past, but it's a different series from her that I like more. The one that's being trad-pubbed. So the Scottish Isle series, which I'm actually surprised how quick another one from this series is coming out, and that there's not another one from the trad series coming out first. So I just didn't sign up for the ALC of this one because the first 2 in the series were just so-so. And so I didn't sign up for another one because if I'm not loving it, I don't want to take the ALC from someone else. But I still put this on my TBR just in case maybe I'll read it on my own, and then I won't feel, then I won't feel as bad if I don't like it. Not that I felt bad if I don't, but you guys know how it is with me. It's like, then I feel compelled to postpone my review a little bit, and this way if I end up reading it right away, I can be like, immediately, Oh, also to put it out there, Hooded from Claire Kent comes out on the 10th of July. This will be the 3rd book in her Fairy Tale Apocalypse series. A few things about this one. I wish I had my copy. She's sending it to me. I don't have it quite yet, but there will be a giveaway I will be hosting for her on my Instagram, so make sure you're following me there if you're interested. There'll also be some other influencers that are hosting some as well. But for that one, it actually will be the earliest set book after the Impact. This one takes place 18 months after Impact, and it takes place in a brothel slash kind of like, what's it called? It's at like a brothel slash inn kind of place where people can come and get food and then stay with a sex worker for the night if they want to. And Jill is a sex worker slash server at this place, and she meets Cade there, who is a very mysterious character. And it is a bit of a Little Red Riding Hood slash Robin Hood-esque situation going on. So I think people are going to love this one a whole lot. And it's really interesting which characters you end up seeing in this one. And also, by the time you get to the epilogue of this one, what it sets up in the rest of the series, I think will surprise people. So I really, really loved this one. And I can't wait for you guys to see the cover of Beasts, which is what the 4th book is called. So it's going to be so good. But anyway, that's coming in July as well. Okay, then speaking of wolfish things, there is Hungry Like the Wolf by Eliza MacArthur. This is wild. So I had been waiting and waiting and waiting to hear something from Eliza MacArthur. And I hadn't seen anything for a really long time. And then, you know, because I follow her like on Amazon, on Amazon, I follow her as an author. When the pre-order for this went up, it finally popped up. So this will be the third book in the Elements of Pining, and we're finally getting a werewolf story. So this is the series where book 1 was Soft Flannel Hank, which was a soft retelling of, let's say, Charlie. Book 2 was A Vampire and a Silky. And this book 3, I actually have no idea. There still aren't any details shared. There has been a cover released, but still no blurb. So I think this is still set to come on the 21st. She has revealed the cover on the Amazon one, though there isn't. I wonder if, let me go. I have my tablet with for once this morning. Let me pull up. So she hasn't shared a blurb, but okay, let's share just a couple things. She says it's Robbie, who is a bisexual golden retriever wolf shifter in his 30s, and a demisexual succubus cam girl. So yeah, that is all that she said about it so far. So that's crazy, but it says it's coming out on July 21st, but as I just kind of ranted previously, who's to say what else there'll be? I do not know. So yeah. All right. Then on the 28th, there is Ravenous by Kresley Cole. And yeah, this is so exciting. So this is Immortals Untold, the first book in this series. I am excited / nervous about what this means. I believe this is supposed to be kind of like a, literally like a Immortals After Dark AU, because there still is like a book of lore, but it's called the Living Book of Skeen instead of the Book of Lore, but there still is Lycae, Valkyries, witches, vampires, berserkers, demonarchies, sorcerai, ubis. So there's still like all of those things. And then I haven't been approved for it, but before I ever got my physical ARC in the mail, which can't believe this is so amazing. I got this physical ARC in the mail of this. On NetGalley, there was an audiobook available to request, which I did, and Robert Peckoff is set to narrate it, which I wasn't sure if he would. Now, I know we can't even imagine anyone else doing one of his books, but because this was Immortals Untold and was going to be, you know, from what I've heard about it, it was going to be different. Like, honestly, I hadn't heard a lot. I had just heard that people who haven't read Immortals After Dark could read this because my friend at Bloom had said she hadn't read Immortals After Dark, and they wanted her to read this having not read Immortals After Dark and see if she understood it and how she liked it. It was supposed to be able to stand on its own, but I mean, obviously those of us who've read Immortals After Dark will be able to read this and take something from it more, I'm sure, just by reading the fact that it will have the same type of beings in here. So I'm just so intrigued by where this is going to go. Like, but yeah, the audio is going to be narrated by Robert Peckoff. So I don't know if I'll be able to read this without him narrating it. I hope I get approved for the ALC of this. Otherwise, I may just have to wait till it comes out and get that audio, because I'm going to need Robert Peckoff to read this to me. But I can't believe that I received this. Like, it's so special. Like, I just cannot wait. To be at a point like, yes, I have been on ARC teams for Kresley Cole when she came back from her hiatus and Naomi was running the team. That's when I first became aware of Naomi, when she took over Kresley's team, and I was able to have an ARC of McGreeve. Is it McGreeve or was it? Oh crap. Now I don't remember which one. Whichever one she came back with, I was able to have an ARC of that one, as well as the novella, the Halloween novella. But to get a physical ARC of a Kresley Cole book, you know, 6 years into being a fan of hers, longer than that. When did I first read? I first read her before Or no, was it in the pandemic? It was in 2020. It was, because I binged those all when I was working in my room as an office. So anyway, we got to keep going. This is supposed to be a short video. So there's Ravenous. And then the final one that is official, like I will have an arc of it, is Marry Me by Gabrielle Sands. I'm on her arc and street team. And Marry Me Not will be coming out on the 30th. But yeah, this one will be coming out, and I can't wait to get back in to this series. This will be an arranged marriage. So now on to, briefly, although we'll see, I like to say that I be brief, what I want to try to do to, as I said, maybe inspire some joy or excitement, or come up with kind of like a video idea or something to do. Well, first off, 2 other books I maybe want to get to. There's one series by Juliet Cross that I have not read yet, and they're the ones that she is getting recovered now because she finally got the rights back. And one of my patrons actually kindly gifted me one of the books. So I might want to try to read Darkest Heart. This is one I'm keeping open to. I actually have the audio for this, so I might want to try to do this. It's hard to see because it's so dark, but there's like a crow here and a sword. And this one I believe it's like dystopian, set in a world of angels and demons battling for dominion over Earth. And I believe this is called the Dominion series, if I'm right. But yeah, she got the rights back to this. This was her series I believe she did after her very first series. So there's that one. Then I might try early on to get to, just if I'm in a historical romance mood, one of the Rake Appreciation Society books is My Highland Rogue. And I have the audio for this one. So I might try to do this one. A Highland Fling novel by Karen Rainey. So these are 2 maybes. But one of the prompts on my bingo board, like I said, to try to inspire me, one of them that I haven't gotten to yet is to reread a childhood fave. So for me, I'm taking that in 2 ways. 2 of these are books I've actually did read as a child, and one is a film I loved as a child, but I still haven't read the book yet. And I possibly want to read all 3 of these. I don't know. Okay. So let me go through these. So one of them that I would love to reread is actually Hatchet by Gary Paulson. This I'm inspired to do actually after the heated rivalry fic I read called Into the Woods. I used to read Hatchet and the other books about Brian. There's Brian's Winter, Brian's Return, The Hunt. I think those were all of them. I read those I was constantly rereading those books. I'll be honest with you. I read them so often. I actually even have is it the 25th or the 40th, whatever. I have an anniversary edition of this too, but this is a copy that I literally got from the book fair so many years ago. Like, it literally has on the back that it was a school edition that I have right here, that I kept in really great condition. I have. So yeah, I kind of want to reread this one. It's only like 180 pages, and yeah, I just love this story of survival. It's the book that kind of ignited my interest in survival stories. From this, I read, and I've never been able to find it again, because even when I've looked up this title, it isn't the book that I read. There's this one called like The Island's Keeper, and it was literally about this fat, and I'm using that word on purpose because she calls herself that, this fat rich girl who runs away from her wealthy family to an island to live there because she hates her life. And she survives on this island. She's a very privileged girl to decide to do that, but she loses weight and lives off the land. And it's called like The Island's Keeper or something. That's one I really liked when I was young too, as a overweight poor girl who was like, oh, wouldn't that be nice if that were my only problems? But anyway, I really loved survival stories, and I just love how this is like a problem-solving story, but also it's like desperation and the quiet. It's just him against the elements. And I just love it. I just love it, and I want to reread it. Then another one that I directly read as a child, and I was reminded about this book, which I own all three of them, but I was reminded about this book by my big sis because she actually found this book at a bookshop, and she had wondered if anyone had read it. And when big sis is Crystal from Crystal's Bookish Life, of course, talk about her all the time, literally one of my best friends in the whole entire world. And the fact that her and I had never talked about this book, both being two her horse girlies, the fact that we had never talked about this book together in the, I don't know, 6 years that we've been friends, I took as a personal affront and a failing on my part that I never brought this book up to her. I'm just devastated that I did not. And I don't know if she'll be up to reading it with me in July or if she wants to. I brought it up to her, and then I haven't again. Now I'm putting it in a video. So hi, Crystal, if you see this. If you end up wanting to read this in July, let me know. But anyway, this book is called The Mountains Call by Caitlin Brennan. And it is about this woman named Valeria who she... It's so hard to explain this because this book is one of those that it was so from the early 2000s, but it's magical and it involves horses, and these horses are actually like godlike. And it's one of those stories too where like she has to go undercover as a boy because girls aren't supposed to feel this call that she feels. It's only supposed to be men who get this call, but she gets it. And so she goes to join this school where they get trained to do this certain type of dance on the horses, but the horses are gods, and this is magic dressage, basically. I can't explain it to y'all. I can't explain it, but I found this book at my library when I was a kid, and I read it so much. Literally, the copies at my library were falling apart. And it was only a few years ago when I discovered thrift books. That I was like, I should look up all these old favorites of mine and get copies of them. And there are quite a few that I did this with. And this is a trilogy, actually, that I did that with. So this is one of those that I'm kind of afraid to reread it because I might hate it. But I'm also at this point in my life, being 33, that even if I reread it and I hate it, I won't like hate it. Like I'm not going to hate it to the point that I won't still love it for what it did for me. Because I read this so many times. Like, I first discovered this as a maybe 13-year-old, and I read it every year that I lived in Brainerd or lived in Pillager. My parents took me to the library, and I would read it every year. So I remember a lot of things about it very vividly. So I think there's a good chance. So I really want to reread this. Let me show it to you again. Like, look at this woman and the horses, and it's amazing. So yeah, I want to reread this one. There are no audiobooks for these. But yeah, The Mountains Call by Caitlin Brennan. Now the third one is one that I've already put on 2 TBRs this year. So I'm also kind of like ashamed to put it up, but I might grab an audio for this one because I know there's some free audio books of this one. But there's also gonna be a new version of this, a new adaptation of this getting put out with Katrina Balfe, I believe, playing Mrs. Dashwood. And I still haven't done my read of this. So this is what I'm saying. Like, I have not read this before, but I have watched 3 different versions of this. I feel like I know the story pretty well, but it would be reading it for the first time. It would be, in that Sense and Sensibility. So again, I know that isn't quite the same as like rereading a childhood favorite, but it's like Sense and Sensibility is a childhood favorite. So it's like the nostalgia factors there. But yeah, there is one coming out, and Katrina Balfe, I think, is playing Mrs. Dashwood. I don't know. I haven't watched the trailer because I don't want to like be kind of like spoiled for anything about it. But Katrina Balfe is going to be in a version of Sense and Sensibility, and I'm really intrigued by that. So I don't know. Again, this has been on so many TBRs that I've done, and this is all just maybes. You know, these are all just if I feel inspired to do so. But I at least, out of these 5 ones here, for July, I at least want to do one of these. And of the like, you know, like I at least want to do, like, I'll probably read Hatchet. Honestly, I want to read Hatchet so bad. I'll probably do that very soon. Because after reading Into the Woods, which I loved so much, I really want to reread Hatchet. So I at least want to read one of these 5. And I will feel like I'm giving myself some space to do something that's like off the plan. Like I'm not even going to put these ones in on the TBR page because I don't want to feel the weight of them or the pressure of them. These are just for Jen. These are just like feel led where you get led to get to. And I'm hoping that will help me get out of my funk. So anyway, I hope this long TBR that was meant to be quick is inspiring to you in some way, and that maybe you'll relate a little bit to what I was saying in here. Yeah, so much for my clickbait title. I mean, it wasn't supposed to be clickbait, but so much for my catchy title for a quick video that ended up being a sit down, pour your heart out type of thing. Because that's what Jen does. That's what Jen does. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you are having a wonderful weekend. Let me know what you're hoping to read in July. Do you have any plans for the 4th? I didn't show this cute one off. This is from Maurice's, and it's really the only like 4th of July one I'm doing. But I really love that it was embroidered, and it's just really simple. I think it's cute. It is weird that I bought a sweater when it's going to be the warmest that it'll be, but I really kind of like the embroidered on here. I think it's cute. So, thank you so much for watching, friends.